Everyone. I see people are joining. I guess some people will be coming still in a few minutes. I suggest we start. We have a packed agenda for the webinar. We have quite a lot of interesting cases to cover and to discuss in an hour and a half that we've allocated. First of all, welcome. Thanks for choosing to spend the afternoon with us. This is a S3COP Industrial Transition Working Group organized webinar, second in its series. And this time we're looking at new smart specialization trajectories. My name is Yeva Stanislavitita. I'm a senior consultant at Technopolis Group Belgium, and I also have the pleasure to be the working group on industrial transition leader. Before we start, I'm just going to do a very quick introduction to the agenda. So we'll start by a very brief overview of S3COP and S3COP Working Group on Industrial Transition. I'll then hand over the floor to Luis Gonin Navarro, who is our working group chair, has been working very closely with us over the past 3 years. And then we move forward with the presentations and discussion on regional thematic priorities, covering 5 different regional cases. I'm not going to present the speakers now. I think we'll get there when we cover the presentations, but we'll hear from the regions of farmland, Usti, Brittany, Sicily, and Andalusia. So these are the topics that will be covered. The presenters will tell you a bit more about that later. We'll then have a dedicated Q&A session, but feel free to put your questions in the chat at any point during the presentation, and then we'll try to cover them as we go. Just taking a few minutes to present S3COP. Most of you must be familiar with it by now. So S3COP, Smart Specialization Community of Practice, is a hub, is a central node of guidance, networking, support. So it's really a platform that integrates different stakeholders, experts, knowledge, and knowledge sharing, peer learning, etc. In terms of services, we classify them in 3 different categories. So we policy reflection, so that is more the S3 expert group, working groups, which is also the working group that we represent here today. Policy support, so targeted support to regions. So some of you might have also benefited from the targeted support. We also have a thematic platform and partnership. So those are on the selected thematic priorities, also with the different DGs of the European Commission, and of course the community engagement activities, so events, conferences, S3COP website that integrates different resources. In terms of working groups, we have 3 working groups working under S3COP. One of them is interregional collaboration, industrial transition, which is the working group that we represent today, and also innovation diffusion. So the main purpose of the working group is to document and collect knowledge, identify needs, problems, challenges, and then inform, of course, policymaking on needs and potential solutions, and as well what we need for implementation of those. In terms of this working group, so we've been working in working group meeting settings, then also webinars where we present the cases of working group members, but also guest speakers. We also have 3 regions that are joining us today as guests, and also summarizing our outputs to policymakers in policy papers and briefs. So we are in our 3rd year of activity. We have 13 constant members. As I mentioned, we also do work with guests, not only representing the regions, but also different stakeholders, closely working with smart specialization. We've, I think at this point, we've done 5 working group meetings, 3 conferences, 2 policy briefs, and webinars, one of which is today. Policy brief, maybe also taking a couple of minutes to summarize our latest output stemming from last year's activity, and also everything that we've collected from the working group members. So the policy brief 2025 that was published a couple of months ago. Of course, this is a very high-level summary, very superficial summary, but we've provided some recommendations as part of the working group and regions that represent the working group and regional stakeholders that represent a working group. So you can also see these 6 recommendations illustrated with concrete examples in the policy brief itself, but we talk about targeted roadmaps, so how to align strengths with regional strengths with EU industry, multi-level governance, and how to enable cross-sector collaboration with different stakeholder engagement elements, skills to support green and digital entrepreneurs, circular economy integration in industry, as well as funding and different funding instruments combination. Lastly, interregional cooperation and how we can foster joint innovation. So I invite you all to read the brief. It's available on EU Publications Office. I can also drop the link in the chat later. My last slide is the S3COP conference invitation. Some of you might have registered already. Some of you might have already planned your trips to Brussels, but yes, please have a look, take a moment to also register. We would be happy to welcome you in Brussels in June for the conference. So that's it from me. Thank you again for joining. I hand over to Luis for a very quick welcome words. Thanks.
Well, thanks a lot, Eva, and a pleasure to be with you all. And this is a bit ambitious webinar in which we are dealing with a core topic for smart specialization, which is how to choose trajectories for smart specialization, and in the end, how to create more sophisticated development trajectories for our regions in order to create more prosperity and quality of jobs, which in the end is the main goal of our specialization strategies or economic strategies, innovation strategies at the regional level, which is the people and the quality of jobs. So many of you might be asking in this, contentious moment, how to set priorities in a constantly moving landscape where the only routine is like changing routines and changing priorities at the European level, especially, which is very active currently, setting new priorities in this very specific geopolitical moment. But we all here in this webinar and colleagues, we are strategizers. So things cannot be improvised at the regional level. For sure, we need to adapt strategies to the circumstances and new opportunities, but you cannot take trajectory like in a boat, like there's a real inertia in our ecosystem. So we need to understand how to adapt to this new North Star, the competitiveness compass. We've been dealing with that in the last working group meeting, and it's an important document that I recommend reading because it's going to guide the new from June. No, it's just almost 1 year from the new administrative term from the European Commission, but in the end, if you look at it in summary, there are 3 key growth and competitiveness sources. Like, let's say, first one, closing the innovation gap. Not surprisingly, this smart growth topic. You remember knowledge economy, the Lisbon strategy, the 3% of investment. So nothing new in the end. Different technologies, different sectors of application, but in the end, knowledge economy. Second one, a joint roadmap for decarbonization and competitiveness. This is green growth. This is addressing the climate change and the energy transition. We're in the middle of that. This has been on the table for the last 15 years at least, and many of us have, in a way or another, tried to see the way in which our mature sectors are adapting to this green economy and the transition to a zero emission economy. So there you have decarbonization technologies, green products, circular economy. Today we will be talking about batteries and raw materials. This leads us to the third one. The third focus is the resilient economy in the end, reducing excessive dependencies and increasing security. So here this might be a bigger change in the landscape of the European policies in the last times. Not the idea of opportunities coming from the open strategic autonomy, the idea that we cannot rely on short number of suppliers for specific and very important products like pharmaceutical or defense, of course. And so many of the industries that have been largely outsourced globally in the past decades may have a chance of being partially at least internalized. So this is a clear opportunity regions. And of course, I mean, there are changes and adaptations, but with a long-term perspective, in the end, is green and smart and sustainable growth. So nothing new for you all, that you've been working with that for the last 15 years. So in the end, this is what we're looking for. And so we are in a moment of great opportunities. Maybe the timing for some markets is changing fast. This is something that has changed. I've been looking at projects around electric mobility for many years, and now looks like it's starting to be the moment for that. There's a lot of changes in many mobility issues, etc. But let's go to the panel. But we have a great variety of regions, peripheral regions, I would say, but also a very central region. So a mix of north and south and east and west. We have different regional authorities, development agencies that are taking advantage of these opportunities. And in a general way, we want to know or to showcase how do they choose, design, project, and feed these topics, this vertical access of specialization that they have at the regional level, and which is their policy mix of the relevant programs and resources, the funding as well that they use to support these vertical specializations. So, I mean, it's a real pleasure to have you all here. We will start with Värmland region with Paul Nemes from Paper Province, which is the cluster, and Angelica Jacobo from Region Värmland, which is the regional agency in Värmland, the region from Sweden. So maybe we can start with you, and I will present the next little by little, no, step by step. So thanks for being with us, Paul and Angelica, and over the floor to you.
Thank you so much for your introduction. We are very happy to be here.
So one last thing, we will have we will have all the presentations in a row, but later we can have a small debate moment if we have the time. So if you want, you can post your questions on the chat, and we will take care of them and try to pass them to the speakers. So thanks a lot, and yeah, please, Angelica, proceed.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yes, my name is Angelica Jacobo. I'm working as a coordinator for the Smart Specialization strategy in Värmland, in Region Värmland in Sweden. And I'm here together with Paul Nemes from Paper Province, one of our clusters. And we are here to tell you a little bit about our work together and how we have strengthened and developed one of our specializations during the last years. But first, I want to just show you our smart specialization strategy in Region Värmland. In the middle, you can see our vision. It's a sustainable Värmland that makes a global difference. And this is what we, of course, aim for as a vision. But then you can see the smart specialization down here. Today, we are talking about the first one, the named forest-based bioeconomy, but we also have advanced manufacturing, we have sustainable systems with photovoltaic, we have digital health innovation, attraction via sustainable site development, food in sustainable interactions, and computer games and gamification. And those are our 7 specializations in Värmland. But I also want to just mention what you can see around here. This is our perspectives. Those are perspectives that are there to strengthen the specializations. We have the digitalization, of course, to strengthen and to make the specialization more valuable. So this is the position of the perspectives that you can see. But as I told you, and as you have seen in the program and the agenda, today we will talk about the forest-based bioeconomy, which has been a smart specialization in Värmland from the very beginning. We have clusters combined or added to all of our specializations, and And for forest-based bioeconomy, we have Paper Province as the platform and the leader of this specialization. We also have other clusters for the other specializations, but as I told you, we will not go into them very much today. I also want to mention the Academy for Smart Specialization. This is our agreement with the University of Karlstad, and this is a very strong agreement. We have it's combined, of course, with objectives, but also with money, and we have a very close relationship with our university. But today, the forest-based bioeconomy and this development and this strengthening is because of very many actors, and that here you can see a lot of them coming. But those are not only organizations. Every organization also represents a different place in the ecosystem. We have companies, we have the university, we have Sting who really strengthen the new companies and the startups. We have CirClub, which is a test bed, who is really where companies can come and test and do some 3D printing with bio-based materials. So this is our strength, that we have very many actors, and they are all representing different kind of organizations into this whole ecosystem. But from this overview, I will leave the word to you, Paul, and please let us know a little bit more about Paper Province.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much. Thank you. So as was said here earlier, I'm Paul Nemes. I represent Paper Province, where I'm the Deputy CEO, and I'll speak then a little bit more perhaps from a Paper Province perspective, from quite a practical perspective. But yeah, as was said, Paper Province then is a cluster organization. And as a cluster organization, Paper Province has evolved, developed into an innovation cluster and an innovation platform within smart specialization, and partly due to smart specialization. So I'll try to briefly outline how smart specialization and Paper Province and the ecosystem as such has kind of developed in symbiosis. And the timeline you should see, I think you see on the screen there now, yeah. That's an attempt to visualize this development. So Värmland was quite an early starter in terms of adopting and embracing smart specialization, and Paper Province, which was from the beginning an industrial cluster focused on pulp and paper mainly, soon became quite a central actor in this whole transformation. So both smart specialization and Paper Province played important roles, I would say, in aligning businesses, academia, and the public sector. And as a result, I would say that the governance structures have become more collaborative as well as strategic, and involves a great number of stakeholders in developing the regional strategies now as smart specialization. So Värmland's policy, regional policy, has shifted from more general support to more targeted support in investments in R&D, infrastructure, capacity, skills, all the things there that Angelica showed on the screen in terms of accelerator, test beds, and so on. We've actively invested in those environments in order to be competitive in the forest-based bioeconomy. So the development of the region's smart specialization strategy has gone hand in hand with the development of the innovation ecosystem and the stakeholders. And there's been a broadening as well, I should mention, from, as I said, an initial focus on pulp and paper, and from a focus on a few big pulp and paper companies, mainly paper mills, towards the much broader forest-based bioeconomy. And this would not have been possible without the mobilization of many private and public stakeholders and academia behind a joint vision and strategy. And much of that came from smart specialization. Yeah, you can move on to the next slide. So what is it then? What has smart specialization meant for the regional bioeconomy and to us as a cluster and to the region in terms of the region's competitiveness? Yeah, next slide. I'd say that largely as a result of smart specialization, the strategic planning processes have become more focused, more inclusive, and innovation-driven. So smart specialization obviously provides still a framework in terms of identifying regional strengths and building on those. But at the same time, I think that the combination kind of with Paper Province as a bridge between academia, industry, and government, that played a role in terms of finding those clearer and better priorities and alignment, stakeholders being aligned with policy, really. So as a result, we've kind of shifted from a top-down to a more dynamic, kind of evidence-based approach, I would say, with this the entrepreneurial discovery journey at its core, really. So this has enabled us again, I think, to shift focus, to broaden, to move from pulp and paper towards something much less defined in terms of the forest-based bioeconomy. Yeah, next slide. So collaboration, mobilization, and stakeholder engagement in the forest-based bioeconomy, that has all really developed and deepened, I would say, as a result of smart specialization specifically. And as well as part of that, Paper Province, initially as a cluster organization, business cluster initially, was able to develop into more of an open platform for the forest-based bioeconomy specialization and as an engine for the entrepreneurial discovery process, really. So smart specialization created obviously shared strategic direction, and it facilitated Paper Province's transformation as well. So again, this is another thing that kind of contributed towards the broadening of scope, again, from pulp and paper towards the much broader bioeconomy, because we soon came to the realization that the broader scope, it required much broader collaboration across a wide range of stakeholders as well as sectors. Yeah, next slide, please. Smart specialization strategies often obviously attracts funding from regional, national, and EU sources in order to support initiatives that are aligned, obviously, with smart specialization. I'd say that being prioritized in the region smart specialization strategy has enabled Paper Province to access funding on behalf of us as a cluster organization and on behalf of other stakeholders in the ecosystem, and specifically earmark funding for projects related to smart specialization. And this is important because it's really provided direction in terms of what is it that we aim to fund or not. So that has helped us in implementing and supporting innovation projects and activities that has contributed towards the region's competitiveness and development. And also in terms of, I'd say that smart specialization has very much improved alignment and access to funding for the region's bioeconomy as a whole, but by focusing on the regional strengths as well and involving the right kind of stakeholders in the planning process, funding priorities became much clearer and better coordinated regionally, obviously, but regionally combined with national and EU levels as well. So this has very much provided opportunities to identify relevant projects, relevant project consortia in attracting investments. And as a result, I think the regional forest bioeconomy stakeholders have been able to secure more targeted funding for innovation research and development. I realize I'm running out of time. I have one more slide, just 3 takeaways, if you please. I'll be quick. So first, in tandem, the region smart specialization strategy, paper province, and innovation ecosystem has obviously broadened. That's been quite a big journey for us, as I was trying to make that point. I think as well, smart specialization has enabled us to invest in specific priorities. We have stressed our capability and capacities in terms of demonstrating the forest-based bioeconomy. That means showing in practice what is a possible bioeconomy solution. We've seen as well, and this I have to stress, we've seen a complete transformation of the regional innovation ecosystem in something like the last 10 years. There was a much broader support before, less targeted. Now, in terms of the forest-based bioeconomy, we have a complete innovation system focusing on that priority in itself and other priorities, as Angelica outlined as well. But looking 10 years back, we had almost no innovation support for bioeconomy activities, bioeconomy projects, bioeconomy innovation. And now it's very much geared in that direction. What has been created, I suppose, is a robust platform regionally for regional and cross-regional innovation in the forest-based bioeconomy.
Okay.
I'll stop. That's it.
Well, thanks a lot, Paul, and
using up all
congratulations.
my time and a bit more.
Thanks. But congratulations for this long-term trajectory. You said 10 years of transformation of this whole sector, so it's an important endeavor. And maybe later we can come back to this, but we need to go for the next presenter, which is Usti Richon.
Okay.
Yes, Zdenek, thanks for coming. I'm from Bioeconomy, which is part of the competitiveness compass. As I said before, one of the new growth engines is called this bioeconomy. Of course, raw materials and batteries are key for the new economy, electrification of the economy. So thanks, Zdenek. The floor is yours.
Okay. So thank you for introduction. I'm sorry I have some troubles with my computer, so I will use this presentation mode. So my name is Zdenek Ušek. I'm responsible for the regional innovation strategy in Ústí region. And my presentation will be more about the multi-governance approach to S3 strategies, because lithium is a really national project. So it's a project supported by Czech government. So I'd like to start with some presentation of context this lithium project. So we are middle-sized region, about 800,000 inhabitants. We are located between our capital city of Prague and between Saxony capital of Dresden in Germany. We are industrial region. Our main smart specialization domains are heavy chemistry, energy production and supply, and automotive. So it's all these domains are now in transition. So we are now facing a lot of troubles in industrial transition. We're finding the new approaches, new innovations. We are focused now a lot on green chemistry and nanotechnology as a part of clean tech industry. The new energy resources like hydrogen, photovoltaic, and also batteries, and all the necessary points regarding the new energy management systems. And we are also active in digitization and smart mobility. I think it's clear that our main trouble is decarbonization. So we have a lot of coal mines, power stations, heavy chemistry plants. On the other hand, we have opportunity to use the just transition mechanism. So for the special support tools for coal mine regions or for regions with heavy industry. So this is, let's say, very good opportunity how to manage the transformation to more competitiveness areas. But I like this picture because this picture is all about our problems. We have in our region we have really an industrial mindset. So people believe more in bigger companies that is small one. So we must change it. This approach that also a small company is important. And we have a lot of troubles with landscape revitalization. This is the typical open cast mines for brown coal with some power station, chemistry plants, and so on. And so the goodwill of mining or the view of people to mining is, let's say, very problematic. And I will talk about new mining, so new resources like lithium. So this first presentation, this first part of the presentation is about context. So we are industrial region with a lot of troubles in environmental aspects, and we are solving the problem of landscape revitalization. On the other hand, we have some interesting resources, and one of these interesting resources is lithium. Lithium is in our region in two main sites. This is in landfills from former mining of metals, and there are also lithium in former mining sites, like for example mining for zinc or other metals. So, for example, this location is very close to German borders in town of Cínovec. What are the problems? People said, yes, we are closing the coal mines, but we would like to open the new mines. So we are going from mining to mining. So this is the first problematic aspects. This is the PR or goodwill of this new project. So from mining to mining. And I think in whole Europe is now also big challenge to talk with people about the environmental aspects of this new mining industries. So typical is NIMBY effects. So not in my backyard. So yes, we would like to have some new jobs, but we don't like to have these jobs in close to my town or close to my house. The problem of lithium is also the little bit controversial ownership, because the ownership of this project is in the hand of our national energy supply company, which is also owner of the power stations and the coal mines. So they have relatively negative goodwill from this devastation of landscape. So it's difficult to explain this mining to mining journey to, say, common people. And our last problem is the market situation, because I think you understand that now it's a lot of projects, for example, giga companies for production of batteries is now declining. Or last report is, for example, from Nissan. They would like to establish a new company for batteries, but they close this activity. So the market situation with lithium is now very fluctuated. So there is no, there is very, very limited signals for future market development in lithium. Concerning public support, so this project is very huge. It's more than 270 million euro in total costs for this project. Current public support is about 32 million euro. It's especially for preparatory works and for R&D. This money could be supported from Just Transition Fund, from national government funds, and there is also some small budget from regional authority, because one of our next challenge is how to manage the value chain, because this is the lithium project or battery project is a national project. So the value chain is all over the Czech Republic. For example, the site for Gigafactory will be in Pilsen region, so in our neighbor region. So the impact of regional economy is now relatively small. So we have resources, we have raw materials, but the impact on our economy in Ústí region is relatively low. So how we manage it? We have a lot of discussions with government how to find some value added in our region, and the result is that we reached the agreement with the University of Chemistry and Technologies from Prague that they will, with help of our budget and national budget, establish a new R&D center focused on circular technologies. So the lithium will be part of this research activity, but not only, also the other precious metals, or also the using of materials for landfills, for example, for construction materials. So we like to have in our hands not only the card from lithium, not only the lithium project, but also the another opportunities for spin-offs or for transfer of technologies to other our companies in construction industry, waste management, and so on. So it seems that this research center will be part of the lithium value chain, but not only. And this is important for us as a region, because we are only a small part of whole chain in all value chain. So you see that the problems of this project is especially the working with stakeholders, with people which are living in the area of mining, with owners of the project from big national or multinational companies, and also with government, because we would like to find some value for our region, and it's relatively difficult in raw materials projects. It's relatively difficult, especially if these projects are so huge, like in lithium sector. So this is the main problem. So we are still in the way how to manage it, and so I think that the best practice we will have from this project in, let's say, 5-6 years. But now we are in the middle of the very hard negotiation.
Okay.
So thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Renek. And interesting, the idea of from mining to mining, no? It's what's the difference for the people? Or mining to mining, what's the difference for the people? But anyway, looks like there's another different movements that are going towards circular economy and well, positioning your region in the raw material sector, no? which is
Yeah, it's necessary to find another phase that mining to mining.
yeah. Perfect. Now, but interesting saying that that chart that you showed, showing that you're transitioning from traditional to emerging sectors. You have both, and now we have another example of how to transition from a traditional agriculture and land use sector. How the help of the new technologies, digital technologies, can help improve these traditional sectors of land use, forestry, and agriculture. We have Brittany region. We have with us Hélène Morin and also Arbea Marieni, who is a member of the active member, I would say, of this working group. From Brittany, La Bretagne, are you with us? Can you show your presentation?
Yes, just
Hi,
hold on a
Arbea.
second because I actually have a problem with the saved presentation. My computer is playing funny, so we will try. Elaine, I'm sorry, but apparently I'm getting a version of the presentation which might not be the last one. Let me see. Right. Yes. Do you see my screen?
We see you, but not your screen yet. Now it's okay. Yeah, it's starting.
It's okay. No, it's presenting the wrong one. I don't know if I mean, I had tried before. Right, now you should be seeing the right one. Which one are you seeing?
None so far, at least me, but it's
Fantastic.
taking
Okay.
time.
Not, my
Nothing.
computer is having a problem. Sorry.
Maybe we can change region if you don't mind and go to Sicily region.
Yeah, go
Because I
ahead.
see Giacomo and Francesco in front of me, so
Go ahead. I'm going to send you the presentation and okay.
All right, we are here.
Yeah, Francesco, are you ready? Okay, thanks, Claudia.
Yes.
Buonasera.
Buonasera a tutti.
Okay, can you
That's
hear me?
Yes, perfect. And we see the presentation.
Okay, perfect.
Is it in a large version? Okay.
Yes, so let's go because we have to rush. So first of all, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for choosing, thank you for choosing Sicily as a case study region for this today webinar. As you know, the region of Sicily is right in the center of the Mediterranean Sea with a number of islands all around. So we will focus on the blue economy priority because we believe there is a lot of good economy, new economy, clean, sustainable, smart and innovative economy that can come from the right utilization of this important natural resource. So the regional smart specialization strategies was written all over again for the programming period 21-27 and is fully integrated into the region's industrial and development policies. Okay, so you'll find here all some details. The S3 strategy is structured around 7 great priorities, one of which is the blue economy. Okay, the blue economy itself includes some innovation trajectories that you can see here. So we have sustainable fishing and aquaculture, innovative technologies for monitoring marine environment, circular bioeconomy applied to marine environment, green shipbuilding and marine robotics, safety, security, and greening of navigation. Sicily is a region with over 1,000 kilometers of coastline, with important strategic ports in Palermo, Catania, Messina, and Augusta, for example, and a strong maritime potential. The objective is to develop a resilient, circular, and digital blue economy based on research, innovation, and skills with a view to reinforcing strategic autonomy and sustainability. Okay, now the region supports the S3 strategy priority with a combination of program and incentives, mostly supported by the ERDF 21-27 program. There is no specific budget assigned to each S3 priority and therefore the blue economy priority. Funds are assigned to policy objective and sub objectives. So in our case, over 1.46 billion euro, okay, is the budget assigned to the objective, the policy objective 1. So we have the smarter Sicily, not a smarter Europe. We have a smarter Sicily. Of this amount, more than 846 million euros are dedicated to research, innovation, skills, and enterprises, providing a strong and diversified toolbox to support the entire S3 strategy, blue economy priority included. Okay, funds are assigned based on public calls, mostly to PPP, private-public partnership, composed of innovative enterprises, startup, and research organism and centers. Okay, all projects and initiatives must have the requirement of being in line with at least one of the innovation trajectories of the regional smart specialization strategy. Now, okay, now, as you know, different structural funds are not directly connected to each other. But nevertheless, because supporting instruction, education, and high skills and competences is critically important for the digital and sustainable transition, the European Social Fund Plus 21-27 has a specific actions for that purpose, for skills, competence, so supporting, for example, PhD programs or research and spin-off programs, mostly to universities and research center, but also a special support goes to the ITS, the Istituti Tecnologici Superiori. There are 11 in Sicily. They are basically in between the high school and the university degree, and each one focuses on one innovative area. And there are a couple, one in Palermo, one in Catania, dealing with, in some way, with blue economy. And students really very easily find jobs and works in innovative enterprises. Okay, so this is very important. Now, coming back to the ERDF program, okay, there is a specific support to research infrastructure. During the 14-20 programming period in Sicily, we supported 3 national research infrastructure. One of these is named IDMAR and deals exactly with the blue economy. Okay, we have the pleasure to have today as our special guest Giacomo Cuttone, who is the scientific responsible, who is a professor at the University of Catania, is a researcher of the Istituto Nazionale di Fisica Nucleare, and he is actually the perfect example of a scientist working together, interacting with the institutions, regional administration, and national ministry, to provide all the knowledge needed for the policymaker to translate in policy action to support research and innovation. So I'm pleased to leave the floor to Giacomo to go on with our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesco. So I try to do in 4 or 5 minutes maximum my presentation. Please, the next, as well pointed out by Francesco, we started the Sicilian region invested in research infrastructure. In particular, there was, next slide, please, Francesco.
Yes.
And thank you. And then there was a 2 important research infrastructure recognized by EU through ESFRI program, and not only by the national regional research infrastructure program, that are came Trinet and EMSO, that are particularly devoted to blue growth, in the sense that we are realizing a neutrino telescope for studying the universe, and the European Mediterranean Sea Observatory in the Mediterranean Sea here in Sicily. This was a great occasion for the realization of a deep sea laboratory, pointing out especially environment, geoscience, biodiversity, acoustic detection, transmission cable safety. Especially the last 3, biodiversity, acoustic detection, and transmission cable safety, are now very hot topics that we are exploiting in our research infrastructure, giving an occasion to industrial growth of not only in Sicily but in Europe in general. 2 cables, 3 electro-optical cables are installed in front of the Catania Harbor and in front of Porto Paolo di Capopassero, southeast extreme corner of Sicily, 100 kilometer, 3.5 kilometer depth in Porto Paolo, and 2,000 meter in Catania Harbor. Please, the next. Then, according to that, we realized this, and thanks to the Sicilian region, this underwater giant telescope, and just recently in February we announced that the detection of the highest neutrino energy never detected on the Earth, opening a new window in the comprehension of the universe. But this is not the case of this webinar, but just to say how, starting from excellent science, we can address even blue growth. Please, to the next. And then in particular, thanks to the installation of this CAME-3NET neutrino telescope, the ESFRI program, we are pointing out, we are paying especially our attention on the development and test of new marine detection technologies and devices, in particular light and acoustic detection, and to monitor geophysical and biological phenomena, realizing multi-purpose and multidisciplinary stations that are extremely in collaboration with industry. Especially for the related to the acoustic part, we can study biodiversity, sperm whales transit, the effect of the human presence, noise in the Mediterranean Sea, and this means noise at large, starting from commercial traffic to military traffic, air gun, earthquakes. Please, the next. All these data are open, and we are distributing that to the and we are developing particularly collaboration with national, regional, national, and European company, starting from Alcatel Submarine Network, that is a French leader company in this field, to Leonardo and Fincantieri in Italy, and to other companies, small companies here in small and medium enterprise in Sicily. This is attracting researcher and even companies interested in the development of programs, especially related to search for geophysical signals, shipping analysis, and biological signals. Then the next, this is a general seafloor network. An example of application is this multidisciplinary station realized with the Italian companies that is now that we are discussing with them to put on the market for deep sea installations. And according to that, we installed this multidisciplinary station, especially for environmental studies and for geophysical studies. You can see immediately, just a couple hours after the installation at 3.5 kilometer deep sea in front of Portopalo di Capopasso, the detection of earthquakes in the south of Sicily, but we see around in the Mediterranean Sea, and we note earthquakes exactly where there are the two plaques, the South European, North African plaque that are the main. This is a fantastic laboratory for geophysical studies, but even for companies for developing new products. Please, the last, I believe, nothing more, and we are available for any other comments and questions. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Francesco and Giacomo. And interesting how a European research infrastructure can be supporting so many different sectors in the blue economy. So it's a great example of helping to create as well an economic fabric at the regional level from SMEs, etc., trying to bring researchers and startups. And I don't know if we can go back to Brittany example. Arvea?
Yep. Yeva is going to be so kind. Yeva is going to be so kind. I will be Hélène. Okay, first of all, myself, I'm a jury member of the EIC, European Innovation Council. I'm an entrepreneur and an expert and policy advisor. And I'm here today with Hélène Morin, who represents BDA, which is the agency, the implementation agency for the region Brittany. What we're going to present is a very hands-on, practical model and project that is going to provide an attempt to exemplify how you actually pull together national strategy, which is in France 2030, a green and digital transition, utilizing smart specialization strategies as a cross-connecting, cross-sector enabling structure. We go to the first slide, and I'll leave it to Hélène to talk about the smart specialization as it is done in Brittany.
Thank you, Arvea, for introducing the use case of Brittany. So I'm Hélène Morin. I work at BDI, the Regional Development Agency of Brittany. Arvea, do you want me to share the slides? Or?
No, Yeva is doing that, and I will say when you move forward. Don't worry. Okay. You start speaking the first slide 1, cross-sector synergies.
Okay. So the smart specialization strategy of Brittany is divided into 5 topics, and 2 of them are agriculture, and the other one is digital economy. And the idea today is to present how we deal with these 2 items. So BDI is in charge of implementing the S3, the regional S3 on a bottom way approach, I would say. So what we are doing is we are focusing on cross-fertilization between digital and agri-industry. So we know deeply the companies by organizing an assessment of their competencies, for instance. We are also trying to make connections between the companies. And we are also working on finding the most suitable mechanism or schemes to fund the project that could come from the territory. So the idea is really to have a territorial approach, territorial project, not only for one company, but for a combination of different stakeholders all over the territory, and to find the best solution in terms of funds and also in terms of partner, either at regional, national, or European level. So
and that is sorry, and that is why I'm here, because we represent, I'm an entrepreneur, as I mentioned, and I'm also director in one of these companies that is operating in the innovation ecosystem of Brittany. And what I can say from the user's perspective is that BDE is very proactive. When they spot competence, they will try to make it available to others and to integrate these companies and research centers into projects. Please.
Yes, so on my screen, in fact, I cannot see the presentation, so I don't know what you are seeing.
Okay, so we are on slide 3. We're moving to slide 3, and we're moving towards the, you cannot see the presentation. I sent you the presentation via email.
Yes.
Can you see?
It is not on the Zoom screen. That's why, in fact,
it is in the Zoom, on the Zoom screen.
Okay, as I see, Mr. Francesco Pinelli's screen. That's why I don't know, maybe I have to change something. Okay, that's better. Okay, that's okay for me. Sorry for that.
No problem. So basically, the project idea, Hélène was explaining that the smart specialization strategy in Brittany has got 5 areas, one of which is agriculture, and the other one is digital, and how to use enabling technologies and competences. Brittany is very strong in terms of, for instance, digital, cybersecurity, and also one of the key French regions in food. And of course, we are trying, the region is trying, all the operators are trying to put together, as the EAC, the European Council, has called today for integrating different level and priorities and coordination. And as an example, we can move to the next slide, and Hélène is going to take up number 4. As an example, Hélène, for regional agri-food and digital.
Yeah, so here you have an overview of the cross-sectorial approach. So on one hand, you have the agri-food and bioresources companies. So you can see a map with different dots, and this is the kind of information that we showcase. So the idea is really for each and every dot, you have the description of the companies, either in terms of digital or cybersecurity competency, but also for the company dealing with agri and agro industries. So you can go through the different dots and see and make connections and see what or find what you are looking for in terms of markets or in terms of technologies, so that you can make connections between the different stakeholders. So as you can see, we have a lot of companies all over the territory, and we know them very well. And in addition, the regional council is organizing or is launching different initiatives to make this cross-fertilization between the two topics, the digital and agri-industry. So on one hand, they are giving Brittany what we say the agri-tech program. So the idea is to support company and to develop collaborative projects between digital and agri-industry. And to support this project, the Regional Council has decided, thanks to ERDF fund, to launch what we call InnoXP Numérique program. It is a way of funding a collaborative project when projects come from 2 different sectors. So for instance, this one for digital and agri-industry. And on the right side of the slides, you can see the different stakeholders. So it is a brief overview of what types of actors from the different sectors are present at the regional level. So I will not go through it, but the idea is to give you just a flavor of what exists all over Brittany.
And we can move on to the next one. You will, and then this is the agri-food. There is more information. The next one is on digital. Please move on to number 6, digital technologies. Again, we will go very fast, otherwise we are not going to stay on time. And we go directly through the details about the project, the concrete project. So next slide. Next slide. So basically what has happened is that there is this 2030 national strategy for France, and there is a funding mechanism at national level which is consistent with European policy objectives. And obviously climate neutrality based on the implementation of the national energy and climate plans that you all know are part of the policy requirements for the climate neutrality 2030 and 2050 objectives, as well as under the effort sharing systems of the Commission, the regulation between the states. So BDE, the region, part of the funding banks, for instance, La Banque des Territoires, a local bank for supporting territorial projects, pull together the funding after approval of this project at national level. And why is that? Because the region is one leading region under certain specific priorities. And for instance, the impact of the milk producing sector or even the breeding sector is very heavy in Brittany, reaching even 50% of greenhouse gas emissions locally in certain areas. Moreover, Brittany is one of the key regions that was affected, that was immediately affected by the entering into force of the nitrogen directive several decades ago because of the impact of breeding. Moreover, there are social questions around how to transform the agricultural sector because, of course, you need to ensure, and nowadays more than ever, sustainability, but also food security. And you also have to make the sector attractive to the youth because there is every year a significant loss of workforce in the sector and low attractivity determined by low wages, for instance, or the very heavy charge workload. So we have integrated, this is my company, but a lot of other companies, this is a totally multi-stakeholder project, and this is co-coordinated by BDI. And we are bringing together my specific company with others, living digital twins approaches, moving to the next slide. That are process-based. What does it mean? That normally when you think of a digital twin, you will start thinking this is a research project. I will gather hundreds of data points for 2-3 years, and then at the end, I will not have anything. Well, our company proposes, and together with the local ecosystem and the bank, La Banque des Territoires, BDI, les agents, you see all the logos of the participant organizations as stakeholders. We believe that we need to look at processes and introduce Industry 5.0 approaches in order to redesign the mapping and to create a lean engineering approach for doing really an analysis and a planning system for the agricultural sector, for the milk sector. And we will do that with a methodology which is statistical. So we'll start with 5 companies implementing that, move to the second one. And once we have created the condition, move to the next slide, please. Once we have created the conditions for really doing a BPMN, a business process management perspective for all the phases of the work, so all the assets, the cows, the equipment, the feeding stuff, material, the veterinary cost, we will increase the efficiency and productivity step by step. And also we will focus on a very important set of parameters that are integrated in the enhanced LCA, which are, for instance, the water footprint. Because one thing that even La Chambre de l'Agriculture, the Chamber of Agriculture Producers, who is very important, is the co-coordinator together with BDI, tells us is that nobody really knows what the water footprint for the specific liter of milk is. So we will create not only the condition for understanding the data sets, but also for managing these data sets in an absolutely comprehensive approach. And the presentation stops here because it would be more complicated to go on. And I hope it did. Oh yeah, the last point. There is another slide. Is gone. I am probably a version of the is the business model, because basically what will happen is that the Chambre de l'Agriculture, the Chamber of Commerce for Agriculture producers, is co-financing this investment. We will have this digital twin, and then there will be a business model because the farmers will be paying the services on a yearly basis fee, and they will be recovering their investment and costs by the enhancement of productivity. So that's really creation of products based on a real concrete approach for smart specializations.
Well, thank you very much, Area and Helen. And interesting, that the introduction of a business model that can support this transition from a traditional to more sophisticated sector. So in need of this kind of examples for the rest of the region. So thank you very much. And last but not least, Andalusia, with maybe it's a region that you all know and you might not connect with sophisticated high-level industry, but it's a region that is having a long-term support for a very needed region, needed sector in this moment, dual use technologies, aerospatial. And Nuria and Angeles will show us how the region is supporting this important strategic sector for the European level from Andalusia, this southern region in Spain. So thanks a lot for being with us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to share the screen and see if all of you can see, if you can tell me. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, then I'm going to start. Thank you very much for the kind invitation. I'm pleased to join you on behalf of Andalusia. My name is Nuria, and I'm representing Andalusia Trade. I work closely with companies in the aerospace sector in Andalusia, a region with a strong industrial basis. I join today with my colleague Maria Angeles, who is part of the same department in Andalusia Trade and leads the technical office of the Smart Specialization Strategy. First of all, I'm going to share some key factors about the aerospace industry in Andalusia. The Andalusia aerospace sector is one of the most important aerospace hubs in Europe. It is made up of 146 companies and led by the president of Airbus, which is has the final assembly line for large aircraft located in Sevilla. I'm not going to stop with a lot of all these details, but just to give you an idea, because the defense sector has quite a lot to do with the aerospace sector also, because it's part of the as you can see here in the following slide. Most part of activities, if you the 73% of the sectors turn 73% of the sector's turnover comes from defense. If we consider OEM, while 26 comes from civil aviation. If we consider only auxiliary companies, however, civil aviation generates the greatest share. As you can see, is 55%, while the defense making remain the 45%. In terms of sales by type of products, as you can see, our structure is the main activity, but also it's getting quite important, the services and engineering. This is a highly strategic sector for our region, not only in terms of its contribution to innovation and technological advances, but also in terms of economic impact and employment. So for this, we is one of the specialization priorities. It was in the prior smart specialization strategy 2014 to 2020, and in the next. I'm going to give the floor to my colleague Maria Angeles, who is the expert on this, and then I will go back. Okay, Maria Angeles, if you want to take the floor.
Thank you, Nuria. Just to give you a quick overview of the importance of this strategic sector and how it's involved and how it's connected with the smart specialization strategies. As Nuria said, during the last programming period, we developed our RIS3 Andalusia 1420, and we contemplated the strategy contemplated a specific priority related with advanced industry and linked to transport. So this inclusion of these priorities serve us as a kind of soil, a kind of cushion to impulse and to create and to support the elaboration of the first strategy, particularly addressed to aeronautical and to aerospace in Andalusia. And if you can, Nuria, please pass to the next slide. So we can see, yeah, thank you. So we can see how the current smart specialization strategy for the sustainability of Andalusia for the current period 21-27 is addressing and is including also the advanced transport and mobility system industry. This is for Andalusia, that is called is for Andalusia, not stream, is established as a strategy of strategies. So what's the meaning of that? Is that these are strategies acting as an umbrella, as a general strategic framework for the various and the numerous public policies in our region and for different strategies. So this approach allows us to include more specific strategies, such as this one, the Andalusian aerospace strategy that Nuria is going to develop a little bit more just right now. And it allows us to integrate and align this Andalusian aerospace strategy with the objectives and the mechanism of the S4 Andalusia. As for Andalusia seeks to promote a smarter and more specialized Andalusia through innovation, digitalization, industrial transition, and entrepreneurship. All those are pillars that are essential for the development of high-tech sector, like the aerospace and the dual use. The importance of this sector that are, as Nuria has said, deeply involved with the dual use technologies is explicitly included in the specialization structure, as you can see in these driving industries. Environment of specialization. So this is specifically included, and we can say that is already is also contemplates as an axis of transversal support, as the S4 Andalusia has like a kind of matricial structure. We have defined also axis informing the strategy from a horizontal approach in order to serve as guide and trends for innovative action that can be incorporated during all the period into the strategy. Well, this is all concerning the S4 Andalusia. I leave the floor again to Nuria, and she's going to continue explaining us how the aerospatial strategy works and the measures and the monitoring.
Yes. Well, as you can see, the aeronautical sector is highly developed, but also concentrated and dependent on large OEM. So, like many regions, we faced disruption during the pandemic, which highlighted the need to diversify and future-proof our industrial fabric. And that's the reason why we all together with the ecosystem, we focus on the Space Andalusia Strategy 21-28, 2021-2027. The thing is that these two strategies, both the Smart Specialization Strategy and the Andalusia Aerospace Strategy, have coexist and have pushed together to the dual use and defense industry. In this coexistence, I think is quite important because one is supporting the other and the other is supporting the other. So it's a pioneering regional strategy because there's the only one in Spain. And well, it gives an idea of the public and private institutional commitment to the sector, and the need to drive for a transformation. So in that strategy, we have identified several key challenges. Well, are very common to all the sectors, it's true, but for us are supported by studies and for a lot of working group, of course, but we all arrive, of course, to the same conclusion. We need to adopt digital technologies. We need to enhance sustainability. We need to increase resilience after pandemic, COVID-19, and autonomy in the strategic sector. And it's important also to tap into defense and security markets as a source of innovation and stability. Here you can see our dashboard of our strategy, Andalusian strategy. We are reviewing this periodically, and we are concentrating in all these areas. I'm not going to, we have no time, and I'm not going to go deep in each of the area, but just to give you an idea, is among the tools, we are dedicating funding instrument for dual use research and development. We are pushing our regional innovation cluster and connecting companies with defense needs. We are participating, of course, and encouraging our companies to participate in the European Defense Funds calls and interregional. We also push a lot of important international collaborations. One important for us tool is the skill development. It's workforce development. For us, it's quite important, but well, I cannot go a lot of in details. Just here you have some areas of opportunities that we have detected in new space. You see that the European space, the Spanish Space Agency is located in Seville, which is quite, can you give you an idea of the importance and how the Spanish government believe that in Andalusia is an important focus. We have in REPAS, we have also very important European infrastructures like Atlas and Zeus for flight tests with unmanned aircraft systems. Well, and in defense and security, we have the regional has also the company General Dynamics Santa Barbara that has all the supply chain industry linked to defense industry. And in terms of embryo, just to highlight that Ryanair has the second largest embryo complex in Spain, located in Sevilla, close to the airport. And just to end up, we really believe on in synergies and alliance. We have focused in the last year, since 2015, in dual-use technologies, and we are organizing an annual event dedicated to these technologies, in different topics, but mainly in aeronautic and space, but we also devote cybersecurity and other important topics for this kind of technologies, because we since some years ago, since more than 10 years ago, we believe that for our region is key to push and to support these technologies. And this is all from my side. Thank you very much.
Oops, thanks a lot, Nuria. We have just 2 minutes, and I will not like to abuse the time of our people, which is valuable. I will just end up maybe with a conclusion that your last slide, or the importance of collaboration. So maybe 2 conclusions from this interesting panel. Like, first one is the importance of sound, coherent, and constant long-term bets from regional level. So the importance of choosing, and with the entrepreneurial discovery process, etc., in coordination with the private sector, choosing specializations and aligning sectors and policies, breaking silos, and, as you said, skills, infrastructures, internationalization, different policies feeding these specializations. So no surprise, but this is one of my conclusions. And the second one is the importance also of interregional collaboration. So many times we don't have enough critical mass in our regions for the most sophisticated sector, maybe. So it's important, like in Vermland region, we saw that clearly that they are going out to look for interregional collaborations in order for the companies to create alliances that may help them grow and take higher or better technologies outside their own region. So importantly, interregional collaboration in order for our regions to stay competitive in this environment as we have. And that's it for my side. So thanks a lot to you all. We don't have time for questions, but it's been very diverse and interesting panel. And over to our working group leader, Yeva, to finish and conclude if you want.
Thanks, Luis. Thanks for everyone. I just put a slide up of all the regional cases and names of speakers, as well as the email address at the bottom. We were hoping to have a bit of time for discussion, but unfortunately we ran out. Nevertheless, if you have any questions to any of our speakers, feel free to contact us via email in the slide, and we'll facilitate contact. So hopefully it was useful to all. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for other S3COP activities, and looking forward to seeing you in Brussels in June. So thanks a lot, and I wish you a good afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.